If you're an app developer, then you know all about the Google Play Data Safety Form. Let's be real though, navigating it can feel like you're trying to solve a puzzle in the dark. So in this explainer, we're going to turn on the lights, demystify this whole process, and give you a clear-cut path to getting your declaration right every single time. And look, let's get one thing straight right from the jump. The stakes are high. This isn't just some optional paperwork. Google's policy is crystal clear. Get it wrong or just don't do it, and your app can get rejected or even kicked off the store. We're talking about the difference between your app being successful or not being there at all. So, how are we going to tackle this thing? We've broken it down into 5 straightforward sections. First, we'll cover why this form even matters. Then we'll go on a hunt for the hidden data you might not even know you're collecting. After that, we'll walk through the form itself, clear up some key terms that trip people up, and we'll wrap up with some pro tips to help you master your declaration.
Okay, let's start with the big picture. It is so easy to look at this form as just another annoying hurdle, another box you have to check. But it's actually your first and maybe best chance to build trust with your users, right there on your store listing, before they even think about hitting install. I mean, of course, things like legal compliance and aligning with regulations like GDPR are absolutely critical. You have to do them. But the real win here? User trust. A clear, honest data safety section isn't just a requirement, it's a feature. It's a tool that can actually improve your conversion rates. Because at the end of the day, transparency isn't just good ethics, it's just good business.
All right, section 2. Now, this is where most developers really get tripped up. The problem usually isn't the data you know you're collecting, it's the data that's being collected quietly in the background, the stuff that you are still 100% responsible for. You know, you should think of your app like a meal you're serving at a restaurant. You are responsible for every single ingredient in that dish, even the spices you bought from a supplier. Well, in the app world, your suppliers are your third-party SDKs for ads, for analytics, for payments, you name it. And you have to declare their data collection as if you were doing it yourself, period. So what do? You need to run a quick 3-step audit. First, audit your SDKs. Your AdMob SDK, for instance, is almost certainly collecting device IDs. Second, map out your app's features. Got a login screen? Then you're collecting personal info, like an email address. And third, take a peek at your server logs. Are you storing user IP addresses? Yep, that counts too. Moving on to section 3. So once your audit is done, it's time to actually translate all those findings into the declaration. You'll find the form right inside your Google Play console, under the App Content section. Now, when you get into the form, you're going to see a list of data categories that looks something like this, and this is where all that audit work really pays off. You'll just go through and check off everything you found, whether it's location, personal info, app performance data, or those device IDs. It really gives you a sense of the detail Google is looking for. Okay, section 4 is all about definitions. And this is a big one, because to fill out the form accurately, you have to be speaking Google's language. Some of these terms have very, very specific meanings that are super easy to misunderstand. This right here is probably the most important distinction you need to get. Collected means any data that is transmitted off a user's device. It doesn't matter if it goes to your server or a third party's. Shared, on the other hand, specifically means transferring that data to another company, a third party, for their own purposes, like sending a device ID to an ad network so they can build a profile. You might also see this slightly weird term, ephemeral processing. Now, this is a pretty rare case. All it means is that you use the data in real time, but you never store it. The classic example is a weather app that uses your location just once to fetch the local forecast, and then it immediately forgets it. If you're storing that data even for a second, it's not ephemeral. And that brings us to our final section, mastering your declaration. This is all about how you can turn what feels like a one-time chore into an ongoing strategy for compliance and, you guessed it, building that all-important user trust. So let's wrap up with 4 quick pro tips. First, create a data map, just a simple spreadsheet to track what each of your SDKs collects. It'll save you a ton of headaches. Second, use the official guides from companies like Google and Meta. They actually publish these things to help you out. Third, always link to an up-to-date privacy policy. And finally, make this a regular check-in. Every few months, just review your app's permissions and APIs to make sure your declaration is still accurate. So, I'll leave you with this question. Stop thinking of this form as just a checkbox. Start thinking of it as part of your app's user experience right there on the store listing. When a potential user scrolls down and looks at it, is what they see building their trust and making them want to download? Or is it raising red flags?
The choice is totally yours.